Hey everybody, it's Professor Malat, and this week is week 2. We are going to be focusing on things like the writing process, talking a little bit about writing anxiety, as well as addressing the issue of the 5-paragraph essay and dealing with a little bit of grammar stuff relating to run-on sentences and sentence fragments. So let's take a look at the overview here. As I said, this week, we're going to be focusing more on college writing, right? How to write the college essay. I want to talk a little bit about the 5-paragraph essay. Actually, I'm not going to go very deep. I have a few resources for you to examine this week. So one of the things with the online course that's a little bit different than when I'm teaching face to face, I typically will not recreate a lecture unless it's something that I've recorded beforehand or if it's something new that I think I couldn't find it done better elsewhere. So not all of your learning resources come directly from me, as you're starting to find out, especially with the videos. So as it relates to that 5-paragraph essay topic and how it's a little bit problematic when it comes to college level writing, I have a few resources for you. So if you look down in the reading section, there is a module from the University of Mississippi Rhet Lab called Beyond the 5-Paragraph Essay. You don't have to read the whole module, although I would recommend it. It's very interesting and informative, but I know that you might be under a time crunch. So I'd like you to read at least the first 4 or so pages from the page called Why It Matters through the page called Beyond Formulaic Writing. And you can navigate through that module just like you navigate through Canvas by clicking the next button in the bottom. I will actually open that up so you can see what I'm talking about. Here's the first page. And when you scroll down to the bottom, you can just click next. And if you need to go back and look at something, you can click on previous. So I'll click through these first few pages that I want you to read so you can see them. Formulaic versus organic structure. This is a little bit longer. This graphic here, if you use your mouse to scroll through, it kind of contrasts. It has a figure here that contrasts the 5-paragraph quote unquote theme versus the organic college paper. So that's helpful as well. You can ignore the practice stuff at the bottom of the pages if you want to, or you can test your knowledge if you feel like that's beneficial to you. Next page, Beyond Formulaic Writing. So yeah, just 4 pages and they're not super long. It's not a lot of reading. So hopefully you can get through this information quickly. So that's the first resource for you. And then the related resource for that is it's 2 videos that I would like you to take the time to read. These are really well done videos from a YouTube channel called The Nature of Writing. The first one is Why You Shouldn't Write a 5-Paragraph Essay. And the lecturer goes through and gives you all the pros and cons of the 5-paragraph essay. Many of us learned how to write a formulaic 5-paragraph essay in our high school classes. Not that it's the wrong way to write, just that we need to start challenging you to move beyond that formulaic writing. Sometimes it's necessary to know that formula and to use it, especially if you are taking a timed essay writing exam, such as one of the writing placement tests or any of the college exams, such as the ACT or the SAT. And later on, if you decide to go to graduate school, the GRE. So a lot of those exams like to have that formulaic writing. One, because they can quickly assess how a student writes, and 2, they're really easy to grade. So that is predominantly why the 5-paragraph essay has been taught in school. But as I said, we are now hoping to challenge you and to move you towards a more organic essay structure. So the second video here, which is 7 minutes long, goes into why the organic essay structure is preferable, especially in these college academic writing classes. So these things, these two resources or three resources kind of go hand in hand dealing with the topic of the 5 paragraph essay. So moving on, let's look at the rest of the reading. We have, of course, the grammar. We will primarily be focusing on run-on sentences and sentence fragments. Those two writing issues seem to be the two biggest writing errors that I come in contact with in this prep writing class and also in English 1001. Writing is hard, right? And sometimes we forget that, oh, run-on sentences aren't good. And sometimes we forget that we are writing in fragments. Often we like to write how we think and how we talk. We constantly talk in fragments, but when we're talking about academic writing, we need to move away from that usage of sentence fragments so that our readers understand what it is that we're trying to say. Sometimes sentence fragments they just kind of cloud the meaning of what we are trying to say. So I will open up those two resources. These again are from the University of Mississippi Ret Lab. So read through run-on sentences. This gives you plenty of examples as well as a little bit of practice at the end. And the sentence fragments, again, is also from Ret Lab, and it talks about the common causes of fragments, how to fix it, and again, there's a little practice where you can apply your knowledge if you feel like it, or at least test your knowledge. A little bit of practice there. This week for the reading from the writer's practice, I want you to read through what John Warner has to say about the writing process. That's on pages 33 and 36. And also reading like a writer, pages 41 through 45. In that section, Warner talks a little bit about the rhetorical situation and the various things that come into play when we are reading like writers. So that is very informative and will help set you up for the next few weeks, where we will be talking more about the rhetorical situation and how to be better writers. One of the videos, the other video, I should say, that I have assigned to you is from Crash Course, the writing process. So if you open up this notes page, I just jotted down some notes because sometimes these Crash Course videos go really quickly and you can miss a lot of the information. So I just drafted some of the important things, some definitions, and just some explanations of what the speaker talks about in the video. The video is roughly 9 minutes long, but very informative, of course, building on what you've read about the writing process from John Warner. Also, we have how to preview a text. This is just to help you to build some of your reading skills. So as we move into reading some articles and some essays from other writers in the following week, you will be prepared to kind of scan and do a little bit of pre-reading before you actually dive in. So this talks about what we do before reading, how to analyze the rhetorical situation, how to make some predictions, and how we relate to the text as readers. So I suggest that you take a look at that as well. Lastly, I have a little piece here from the UNC Writing Center, the University of North Carolina, on writing anxiety. Because we are in prep composition and many of you may have been away from writing for any reason for a very long time, you might feel a little bit anxious about it. So this handout is helpful to address the issue of writing anxiety, especially writer's block. And how to deal with some of the feelings that you might have relating to writing. So this is a very good handout. I recommend that you read through. So that said, now that we've almost all have written and followed the instructions on how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I want you to take a few minutes to watch a very silly video of a dad who literally follows his kids' directions to make a sandwich. I just I get a big laugh out of this every time. I like to use it in my in-person classes as well. So take a minute to watch that video. I feel kind of sorry for the kids. At one point, the little boy is just like he's getting so frustrated because his dad is taking everything so literally that this kid is like one step away from a meltdown. But other than that, it's a very funny video. Um, so let's take a look at the assignments. Again, the grammar quiz this week will be based on run-ons and fragments relating to what you read from the University of Mississippi Ret Lab. This week's discussion board is talking about writing anxiety. Writing anxiety is a common trait among students in English 099 for a variety of reasons. Here are some questions I'd like you to answer honestly. It may be that you are one of the lucky ones who doesn't deal with writing anxiety. If that's the case, good for you. But maybe you can offer some advice or some support for your classmates about how you create a positive writing experience for yourself. Try to aim for about 150 to 250 words in your post. And these questions will help you to formulate your response. Do you worry excessively about writing assignments? So don't just answer yes or no. Yes, and you want to get a little bit deeper into that. Do they make you feel uneasy or agitated? Um, do you stress over these writing assignments for days? Blah, 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 right? Do you have negative feelings about certain types of writing? I would also like you to respond to at least one classmate's post by the following Sunday. Actually, let me edit it by the following Wednesday. Wednesday, which will be what day? Next week. So yeah, the following Wednesday. So September 3rd is when this post is due. So September 6th will be when your follow-up response to a peer would be due. Okay. Whoopsie. And then the last assignment for the week is this worksheet called How I Write. This is one I really recommend that you take a look at right away. Get into it as soon as you open up the materials for the course, as soon as you watch this video, so that you know that it's there and that you need to kind of do something, keep track of something for the week. So for this worksheet, I want you to start thinking about writing as more than just academic assignments, right? We have social media posting, texting, snapping, creating blogs and websites, filling out forms, making a list. Those things go across platforms and places, and we're writing all the time. So, this worksheet is asking you to consider your writing processes and practices, your thoughts, your feelings about writing, and how, where, and why you write, with what and for whom. So this week, I want you to keep a daily log as best as you can. You don't have to be obsessive about it, but at least jot down one thing each day. Keep a daily log of the writing that you do. It could be in your classwork, it could be at work, it could be things that you write down at home, even while you're out and about. And divide your log into sections labeled what I'm writing, why I'm writing, who I'm writing to and for, and when and where I'm writing and with what. At the end of the week, you want to tally up your responses, then write a short reflection about what you discovered about your everyday writing processes. Or writing practices. So I wrote down an example here of just a few days worth of writing activities. One is a journal example, this assignment to help the students. And I wrote it at home in the afternoon. I used my computer to write it. Other things, various Canvas pages, text messages, and the devices I used for that. Then I have one that's on the 30th of July. I wrote a grocery list. What was the purpose? To remind me what we need for the week. I wrote it to myself. I was in the kitchen in the morning and I wrote it with pen and paper because, yes, as I've said before, I'm kind of a dinosaur, right? And then my reflection was just very brief. I had a busy week updating my online course, so I was using computers a lot. I also texted while in bed, something I don't normally do, because it was a good time to connect with my son. I'm old school when it comes to grocery shopping. I prefer pen and paper I can physically handle and can cross off the things I put in my cart. Um, so, some tips if you choose to submit this as a text entry, select insert from the menu above, then select table and make sure you have 6 columns and however many rows you might need. If you keep track with pen and paper during the week, like if you have a notebook that you keep for this class, you can take a photo of your record and insert that image as a text entry. However, if you would like a template to download and add to on your computer, I have a Word template that you can download. I'll open that up. Hopefully you can see it. And you would just make sure that you download it instead of just opening it to this because you won't be able to type in when you just have it open in Canvas. Make sure that you download it. And then you'll be able to edit it and just type all of your stuff in. Oops. So let's go back to the worksheet page. So the goal here is to notice how much writing you do every day and how much you transfer knowledge about writing across writing tasks and activities. Also, to recognize your agency in the writing practices and processes and see that you can control the circumstances under which you write. And third is to notice how writing is affected by rhetorical choices. Remember, the rhetorical choices are those things that you are guided by the purpose of writing, the audience you're writing to, the genre or form that it takes, and the situation, right? We all have those rhetorical choices we make each and every time that we set out to write something. So it can be a text entry box or a file upload, and that should be due on September 3rd. Hopefully that makes sense. If you need more instruction as far as how to do that worksheet, please let me know. If you have problems downloading it, email me and I can email you the file. And hopefully you'll be able to get it that way. But other than that, I think I've addressed everything. Good luck this week. And if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Have a great week, everybody. Bye bye.